While we may have first met Bethany Frankel on The Apprentice back in 2005, it's what she did next that makes her what the kids call iconic.
I don't care if you're the biggest whore in Macy's window, but you pretend that
So what are you doing right
you're
now?
appropriate. I'm calling you out on your because no one besides me has the balls to do it.
There have been plenty of real housewives, but a few can do what Bethany has done. From best-selling books to business ventures, even starting one of the most successful charity initiatives in the whole world.
And now she's here in Australia sharing her life in a live show. It's new. But not before joining us here on the couch. Hello.
Hey.
You look amazing, but there's been dramas this morning with the outfit.
I can't explain why somehow when I do morning shows, there's a dress mishap. So I was all planned and then my dress was ripping and I couldn't get it over my head. And this designer, Rebecca Valance, who's an Australian designer,
Yes.
scrambled over to the hotel and brought a dress within 20 minutes. So this is it. And I'm feeling very good about it.
It's cute.
A little
That's
bit of double
lovely.
stick tape, but yes, but there's always something. There's always an adventure.
Do you love that, though? Do you love there's a bit of drama?
Well, I love that there's a bit of humor. So this
Right.
morning, I was more excited about how funny it was because I'm not really vain, and it doesn't really matter if I walked in here wearing sweatpants, but I made an effort.
We would love that, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. But I appreciated just being able to shout out a designer, and I like the whole adventure. It's the journey versus the destination. And the car got lost. Like, it's just, but it really does always happen to me, and that does make me laugh.
Yeah. When you landed, you posted a clip talking about how lucky you felt to be here. Let's have a look at this clip that you posted.
We were sitting on Emirates first class, which is really extraordinary and beautiful. And I felt guilty about being able to travel like that. I'm really, really honestly very grateful. And it's hard when you have kids and they're experiencing things that you didn't experience. And you're trying to explain to them that, you know, in your 40s, you couldn't afford to travel the way that I traveled today and that she's traveling at 13. This is highlighted.
Yeah, so you're talking about your daughter Bryn here, yeah?
Yes, this trip, the reason I agreed to do this trip, besides loving Australia, it's my third time here, is because I wanted to have that moment where my daughter would be with a kangaroo or a koala. She's a beautiful soul. She loves animals. And it's being able to combine your work with your personal life and your motherhood in one ball that really makes me feel the most grateful. So this trip has a lot of meaning for that reason. It's the first time she's really come with me on a work trip like this, like to come sit and, you know, be in the studio or come to the appearance and sit next to me signing hundreds of people's, you know, books and taking pictures. So that's different.
As we mentioned in the introduction, in terms of your career, you have done so much, more than we can even mention here. What are you going to be talking about in the live shows?
The live show, I'll be talking about what I just said to you and about this experience and probably about some silly things about food, about beauty, about influence. I love the Q&A. I love answering people's questions because that really is when it opens up. My daughter was saying she loved that the most. And just sort of the journey and the business and how I approach success, how I've gotten to where I've gotten in an unconventional, non-traditional, circuitous manner, to be honest.
Yeah, which was through the path of that reality TV, which you've kind of closed the door on that, or is there still scope to do something in that reality world?
I feel that my social media is my reality show. In 2024, you can do direct-to-consumer content.
And
this
you
morning,
do.
and I do. So this right now, people have already watched the disaster of the dress to get here. Why would I want to shoot that? And 6 months from now, that airs. It feels stale. And also, there's all these men in a boardroom that are going to decide whether a show is going to work or not, or what gets cut or what doesn't. Why not control my own story? I don't need to rely on anyone else.
Okay. Now, for those of you who follow Bethany online, and we know there's a ton of you, we all know that you're not afraid to keep things real. You love keeping things real. That's what we love about you. So we thought while you're here, we'd get some quick thoughts on some of the big news stories doing the rounds.
Okay.
Let's start with an easy one. The Princess of Wales and the drama surrounding the English royal family right now.
I think she's done an impeccable job the whole way through. I think that's an impossible job, and she's done it with grace and dignity and poise, and she's also followed all the rules, the don't complain, don't explain, and I think they're literal. She said it's going to be after Easter, and it's going to be after Easter, and if there's a photo, I very highly doubt that she really was the one who posted and edited that photo, but she's the fall girl, and she's probably experiencing a medical issue that is happening. But also, we're not entitled to every aspect of her life just because she's a royal. Like, we're not entitled. Somehow people think that they are entitled to every bit of someone's life. And we're not. Even friends of yours have secrets that you don't know. You're not like giving everybody a rectal exam with every moment of your life. She's living her own life.
I'm sure she probably feels like that's what's happening to her.
Right.
What about, and moving on to another story, the US potentially banning TikTok? Thoughts on that?
I think that the U.S. banning TikTok is about protection, and there'll be guardrails, and I think that there'll probably be a workaround. But I do think in 2024 with AI, and if you think about the fact, back to Kate, people can post a photo that isn't even real. People can use your name, your likeness, your voice. You know, there have to be guardrails, and a lot of TikTok is young generation. They don't understand that. They just want their cooking videos and their fashion makeup videos to be seen.
Yeah.
So they're not thinking about the repercussions that adults are thinking about.
What about the Australian paparazzi?
The Australian paparazzi has been lovely. There's one gentleman outside here who seems to be the same guy at the airport, so he should get a raise because he seems like the biggest hustler. But it hasn't been bad. The Australian media can sometimes twist something that you've said because we're also, again, in a time everywhere of clickbait. Why not say it if you're going to get people in the door? So you have to be more careful, you know, as a public person. But again, back to Kate, don't complain, don't explain. I'm very grateful for this life that I have.
Our wildlife?
A wildlife?
Yeah, our wildlife, out like spiders and...
Oh,
So, yeah.
wildlife. There's a lot of talk about spiders. I did take my daughter to a place called, I think it's called Featherdale.
Featherdale, yes.
What a beautiful place. The kangaroos, the koalas, and it's like, it's very intimate, and they were beautiful people, and she couldn't believe it. I mean, the fact that we were touching koalas and kangaroos, it was unbelievable.
Just as we say goodbye, you did say that you brought your daughter with you and she's observing you. What is it that the lessons that you're hoping to teach her? Because...
Well, she's very, very strong, and I'm very communicative with her about everything, about emotions and psychology, and when something happens, I'm kind of really talking it through with her. And also, I'm strict, and, you know, people were making observations on social media about some ways that she was interacting with a little boy that, to me, is just obvious. But people are asking me a lot about my parenting, which is really flattering, to be honest, because, and the answer is I am strict indulgent. So she's indulged in experiences, but the minute that something happens that I don't feel is a good reflection on her or me as a parent, I call it like snapping the leash. I'm on it the whole way through.
So lovely to see you this morning. Enjoy your time in Australia. They've got a big day lined up. When you go out, if you just tell the paparazzi guy, Carly and I'll be out at 11:45. You're
going to be out at 11:45. Yes, and you're wearing a hot pink colour, so it looks good on you.
Yeah. So nice to see you.
And come to Friday at the Darling Harbour Theatre.
We are going to give you a big shout out. If you are in Sydney this Friday night, there's still a couple tickets left to see Bethany Frank live. We're going to put all the details over on our website, which is themorningshow.com.au.
Bethany, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
wonderful. 11:45, paparazzi.